Well, boys, the new Destiny season has been out for a while now, and I'm sure you guys are loving it, playing it every day, just like me. Yeah, it really does speak volumes when a crafting bug is what causes the player count to spike and not a raid release. I honestly think that was the most fun I've had since like 2019, which also happens to be back when I was doing solo content here on YouTube, which is how I got the idea for this video. I was just being nostalgic, thinking about, oh, you know, I used to make a bunch of stuff for solo players. So yeah, you read the title. These are going to be the best weapons for solo players currently in Season of the Witcher, whatever season we're in as of October 2023. But before we get started, I would like to thank Factor for sponsoring this video. If you somehow don't know what Factor is, well, I suggest you move out from underneath that rock that you've been living under. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, pre-prepared meals right to your doorstep, taking the guesswork and stress out of what to cook for breakfast, lunch, and or dinner. Factor also has dozens of meals to choose from, including options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, Vegan, and more, so it fits whatever lifestyle and goals you got, or if you're just a picky eater. And the best part, there's no prep and there's no mess. You literally stab the film a couple of times, toss it in your microwave for a few minutes, and you're good to go. To be honest, my favorite part about Factor is that it prevents me from ordering takeout, which is positive for my health, but more importantly, my wallet. You can literally get a meal from Factor for less money than you'd spend on delivery fees from some of these other food delivery services. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I would highly recommend that you give Factor a shot. Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code POGMyFiOct50 for 50% off your first box. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. So starting us out with our first weapon, and it's the only weapon in this video that comes from a dungeon, but don't worry, it's from the entrance, which can easily be done solo. The new Pacific Epitaph, a waveframe grenade launcher that drops from the Ghost of the Deep dungeon, the most recent dungeon. Also want to add that the entrance also drops a very good SMG and one of the best rockets in the game, so you have the added bonus of a chance at those when farming for new Pacifica. For the absolute 5 out of 5 god roll, you're going to want quick launch in the barrel column, moving on to the mag column, high velocity rounds, which I believe is guaranteed since like you can only get 2 possible options, so you can just select high velocity rounds. For column 3, demolitionist, kills with the weapon grant 10% grenade energy and throwing a grenade will reload the mag. And finally, column 4, you're going to want to go with either Adrenaline Junkie, kills grant a stacking damage buff 5 times up to 33%, or getting a grenade kill will instantly grant times 5. Or redirection, hits on miners grant 1 stack up to 20 times, hitting a major or boss takes 5 stacks, and each stack grants a 20% damage bonus, which I haven't personally tried on this particular weapon, but I've heard a lot of really positive talk around it. Next up, we have a 2-for-1 because, well, they're both top tier SMGs that are acquired almost the same way, so I'm gonna just give you both and let you pick which one you want to go for. First up is the tried and true Callis mini tool, a 900 RPM solar SMG. Then weapon number 2, and even more tried and true, the Ailos SMG, a 720 RPM arc SMG. Starting with the Callis mini tool, in the barrel column, small bore for the +7 to stability and range, mag column, accurized rounds for the +10 to range. Third column, I highly recommend Unrelenting, kills before reloading, grant extra health, but I know some people love Threat Detector for the boost to reload speed, so you can go that route if you fancy. And finally, in the fourth column, there's only one correct choice, and you probably already know what it is: Incandescent. Defeating a target causes an explosion and spreads scorch to nearby enemies. But now for the Ailos SMG. Column 1, you're going to want small bore, again for the same reason. Column 2, Seraph rounds for the +7 stability and +3 to range, but also because it grants ricochet rounds and bullets go brrrr. In the third column, you're going to want Frenzy. Weapon kills grant a bonus to reload speed, 8, 50, 60, 75, and 100. Also, Volt Shot does count, so you can probably take a guess what we're choosing in column 4. Volt Shot. Reloading after a kill will jolt the next target you shoot, which is just all around pretty busted. Both of these weapons are craftable and acquired via the weekly exotic mission rotator. The Ailos coming from Operation Sheriff Shield and the Callis mini tool coming from Presage. Also, you can get a guaranteed red border for one of the weapons you don't have crafted on your first clear of the mission per week. I believe Xur can also sell the weapons, but they won't be a red border. Last thing, don't forget you can use a deep sight harmonizer on the weapons if you get any that aren't deep sight enhanced. Coming in hot at our next spot, we have the most unenjoyable thing to farm, or maybe the most fun, depending on how psychotic you are, or I meant to say how you feel about Crucible. Riptide, a rapid fire fusion that I'm not 100% sure can still like randomly drop just from playing Crucible, but if not, just rank up your Crucible, head to Lord Shaxx, then go into focused decoding where you will find the Riptide for 1 Crucible engram, 25 legendary shards, which don't forget are being removed in season 23, aka next season, so don't worry about wasting them, and 5,000 glimmer. Note, the more resets you have in Crucible, the higher chance for multiple perks. So if you want, you can save all of your Crucible engrams until you hit that 3rd reset. Now for that god roll in the first column, you're gonna want arrowhead break, plus 30 to recoil and plus 10 to handling. Second column / mag column, enhanced battery, plus 1 to mag size. But personally, since this is a completely random RNG weapon and isn't craftable, I'd take whatever I get in these first 2 columns. So your barrel and your mag column, it doesn't really matter. As long as you can get the right perks in columns 3 and 4, as there is actually 24 possible perks in those columns. Speaking of those columns, column 3, where you got 2 options. Option 1, and what I would personally choose, auto-loading holster. The weapon auto-loads itself after 2.5 seconds of it being stowed. With the other option being lead from gold. On heavy ammo pickup, it grants 25% of reserves. And then finally, column 4, where you're gonna want chill clip. You can freeze anything and everything, and it's great. Oh, and another possible option, if you're interested, I don't think it's nearly as good, but it's Vorpal, if you want a boss damage fusion in the primary slot. Now, for our next weapon, we have something that chances are you already have crafted, but you haven't thought about using it yet or ever, but now you're gonna think about using it. The Amit AR2, a solar 450 RPM auto rifle. Now, in the off chance you don't have it crafted, I believe, and I say believe because I've done it a long time, you can go into the Enclave, and to the left of the relic, there should be something you can interact with that will give you a quest. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if that's how you get it because, well, it's been a long time, but that's how I remember doing it. Getting into the perks for the barrel column, if you're on controller, you're gonna want arrowhead break for the plus 30 to recoil, plus 10 to handling, or if you're on M&K, small bore for the plus 7 to stability and plus 7 to range. For the mag column, ricochet rounds for the plus 5 to range and plus 10 to stability, plus who doesn't love ricochet because, well, they go brrr. Now in the third column, you're gonna want ambitious assassin, kills before reloading, overflow the mag, and for the fourth and final column, incandescent, defeating a target causes explosion and spreads scorch. Incandescent, OP, I love it. I still think it's like the primary weapon ad clearing perk to use, and it's been like over a year since it came out. This AR might be one of the most broken weapons in the game currently, as you can see on your screen. Okay, well, that was during the, funny weapons bug. So maybe it's not that good, but it's still very good with the auto rifle buffs we got this season, and with anti-barrier for ARs being a thing in the artifact currently. And finally, we have arrived at our last weapon, and what I think is the best weapon, but also probably the hardest to farm / get since it comes from Vox Obscura, the hardest of the 3 exotic rotator missions, explosive personality. And it's not that the mission is really hard, it just puts a time limit on you so you can't take as much time as you'd like compared to the other missions. Also, it is craftable, so once you get 3, you can just craft it. And just like the other 2 missions, you should get a guaranteed deep sight version of the weapon you don't already have on your first clear of the mission each week it's available. Getting into the god roll you want on this thing, starting with the barrel column, quick launch for the plus 10 to velocity and plus 15 to handling. For the mag column, high velocity rounds, plus 10 to velocity and plus 10 to reload speed. Boring columns out of the way, next up column 3, where you're gonna want auto-loading holster. It'll auto-load the weapon after 2.5 seconds of it being stowed for easy reloads. And then finally column 4, where I'm going to highly recommend Frenzy. A plus 15% to damage, plus 100 to reload, and plus 100 to handling when in combat for 7 seconds. The barrier to entry for this is very nice, considering that you really don't have to do anything. It's just one of those perks that kind of just activates. I seriously love this solar waveframe, and if you've yet to try it, I can guarantee it'll make your solo endeavors much, much easier and enjoyable. So yeah, but those are the weapons. And remember, this is my opinion. So if you have a different one, well, you know the drill. Shove your opinion down mine and others' throats via the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.